Welcome back to the Bareface channel, child. Okay, I am here to conclude Married at First Sight. First and foremost, child, the kids are outside having a time. They are having a blast. It is so beautiful outside. What am I, a weather girl? And today's forecast is 24 with a 10% chance of rain. Okay, no, seriously. The Married at First Sight reunion is tomorrow. And so I'm a little late uploading this video, but I didn't want to not conclude with the last episode because Chris and Paige, okay? We're gonna get into everything. But Chris and Paige, chat. Chris and Paige. Yeah, I know I wasn't gonna do this makeup look because I generally do not like to do the same makeup look twice, but I didn't film it. And y'all asked for it when I uploaded the last couple of videos, so I'm just gonna repeat the makeup look. Maybe I'll switch it just a smidge, okay? This time I'm gonna actually insert their photos because I know a lot of you don't actually watch the show. You just watch these videos and you're like, oh my god, I need to watch the show, but I'm too lazy to find it. So I'm gonna insert their pictures so you guys can see who I'm talking about when I'm talking about them. The first couple is Ryan and Clara. Ryan is black. I mean, I would say he looks more biracial, but it's because both of his parents are fair skinned. I guess, I don't know if they're biracial. Well, somebody in their family is biracial, okay? Yeah, Ryan definitely looks more mixed, okay? But he's a black man in the eyes of the law. So we're gonna say he's black. Anyway. And Clara is a white lady. She is a flight attendant. This couple, if you remember, has not had sex, okay? They have not been intimate throughout the entire course of the show. While all the other couples were moving on and having sex, these two were not. Also, Ryan had still not said, I love you. To me, major red flag. I mean, I'll say it's a red flag because most men know right away, right? But for whatever reason, he's been holding out on telling her stuff like that. On top of not telling her that he loves her, he had also not been intimate, but he was making her get him off every night. Not okay. Girl, I'll be out the door, honey. I already told you guys that, but I'm just giving you guys like the recap so you guys know who I'm talking about and what their relationship has been. In my opinion, at the point of decision day, Ryan was still making excuses as to why he has not said it yet, if he's even going to say it. And also, I personally feel like Ryan, he may not actually like Clara, but because he doesn't want to fail at marriage, you know, I mean, look at the show he's on. He doesn't want to be deemed a failure. So now we're going here. So instead of being honest and, you know, ending things, Clara chose to stay married, and of course Ryan did as well. But like, he looked like he didn't want to say that he wanted to stay married. So I am very confused about those two. I really am. I cannot lie, when they were sitting there, I was really hoping that they were gonna not stay married, which is a crazy thing because you should not be rooting for somebody to get divorced. But like, I was really hoping that they were not going to stay married. Clara is good at child because I'm hoping that after the 8 weeks, like after decision day, he was able to give her some D, honey, because I would not be okay with that. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Like, and you know what? If we're not going to be intimate, we're not going to be intimate. That's my stance on it. It's not like I'm saying like, okay, he's not giving me any D, so I'm leaving him. What I'm saying is, you're not going to be requesting me to do stuff to you to get you off. You get your nuts. But I am sat there looking like, when's my turn? What about me? Y'all remember that story time? What about me, honey? So that's what we're not gonna do. I'm not okay with that at all. It would be okay if we didn't do anything at all and we just waited out the 8 weeks or longer, however long you needed. But I'm not gonna be, no. Heads high, baby. Heads freaking high. Heads high, kill them with the no. That's what I would be doing. Clara, you good girl. Cause not I. Which knees am I getting on? Not these ones. Heh. Heh. Yeah, I was pretty much shocked, but not really. Like, I expected them to stay together, but I was hoping that they wouldn't. So now I'm taking this pink. This is Sangria Sunset. You know, I love me a sangria, child. And I'm treating it as an eyeshadow. And I start at the inner corner. Get that nice and packed on there, and then move on. So the next couple was Haley and Jacob. Jacob seems to be on the spectrum. I don't think Haley knows how to navigate somebody on the spectrum, especially an adult. Now, it's not said that he's on the spectrum. I'm just looking based on my experience. His quirks are a dead giveaway, but it's more than his quirks. For example, the 80s obsession thing is definitely a special interest kind of thing. So I think that Jacob's on the spectrum, and if you do not know how to handle somebody on the spectrum, especially an adult, it will be hard to make the relationship work, for sure. My mom dated a guy that was on the spectrum, and it was a mess. An actual mess, but you learn so much. And look at that, the eye look is done, honey. So fast, so easy, so quick, so cute, so pink. And shout out to Shooter because I stole his cup. Initially, my prediction going into decision day, based on the last few episodes, I thought that Haley and Jacob would stay married because they definitely had a tumultuous relationship. He was definitely bringing baggage from his past relationships, which wasn't cool. His insecurities were jumping out, popping out like nobody's business. And so I was never rooting for them on the show. I was like, this is a horrible matchup. Like, they need to stop. But once we got to the last episode before decision day, I thought that they were gonna have like a clean slate and start over, and then I started rooting for them, which was so odd because I really did not like them together at first, and I thought they were not matched properly. He was much older. He's almost 40, so he's pushing, and she is 10 years younger than him. Her reason for being on the show was that she was always the bridesmaid and never the bride. Her last relationship had been 7 years ago, which is a long time ago. So I don't know if they were necessarily doomed from the jump, but they definitely had it harder, especially with like finding things in common. Not to say that people that are 10 years apart cannot have something in common, but like literally when he was 10 years old, she was just born. It's a different time. Same with Jay-Z and Beyonce, child, but that's another story for another day. It's another story, child. On decision day, Haley looked absolutely beautiful. She looked phenomenal. She looked like she was coming to collect her man, honey. I was like, yes, Haley, you better. You better look this damn good on decision day. Let him know what he about to miss if he says no to you. Also, coming into decision day for Haley and Jacob, the energy seemed really positive. I was excited to see what they were actually going to decide. So the doctors are asking them questions, and then they start to like rehash stuff that went on, and it kind of went downhill from there. As soon as they started talking about all that old stuff, it's like the energy completely shifted, and I was like, yeah, they're not gonna make it. They are not going to make it. They're just not. So I guess because it started getting a little tense, Dr. Pepper, which I think is so funny that her name is Dr. Pepper, which I think she might be a little person. Like when she stands up, you rarely see, the way that they film the show, you rarely see Dr. Pepper standing, and if she is standing, you don't really see that she's extremely tiny, but she's cute as a button. And so I think she's a little person, or considered a little person because of her height. So yeah, Dr. Pepper, she interjects, and she is basically like, when I asked you guys questions about each other, you guys both had really great things to say about one another. Like, Why does it get like this? I think they both had things that they could not just let go of when it came to the other person. So even though they think that they're great people, they're probably just better off as friends. Very distant friends, because I don't see them having a relationship outside of the show. I really don't, even though they were married. And I also don't see them divorcing, starting over as friends, and then building a relationship. I don't think that they would do that. I think Haley wants somebody younger, and I think Jacob needs somebody more mature. And he needs somebody that's equally as quirky as he is, because he is quirky. Once that conversation kind of fizzles out, the pastor asked Jacob, if Haley wanted to stay married, what would you say? And Jacob's answer was so like, it was weird. The way he answered it was like he went around it. He answered the question but didn't answer the question. It was a very vague answer he gave, and I didn't really know what to take from it myself. But one thing he pointed out was that they had 8 weeks to try, and he doesn't feel like they tried at all. So then the question is then posed to Haley, do you want to stay married? And of course Haley then said no, she does not. Even though that's what happened, I have to say that I feel like if the pastor had just asked Haley, do you want to stay married? I feel like Haley might have said yes, but because of how Jacob answered the question, she decided to say no. Because who is trying to get embarrassed on national television? Not I. Not Haley. So she decided to not stay married. And maybe that is just for the better, but I think that they actually make a pretty cute couple. Sucks that they didn't make it. It sucks that I was kind of rooting for them to make it and they did it, but it is what it is. So now we can talk about the beloved Chris and Paige, girl. Chris and Paige, oh my god. I don't need to give you guys a recap. You all know what happened with these two. The man is a narcissist. The girl might be stupid. I don't know what's wrong with her. In the beginning of every decision day, you hear like monologues about the highs and the lows, basically, of the relationship. You hear the spouse talking about the other spouse. So Chris is giving some monologue about how awesome Paige is. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, really? Really? This is what we're doing? In the monologue, he was talking about how she was his blessed wife and how she was perfect in every way. And I'm like, where was this energy before? You are not about to get on Al Gore's internet and tell me this. You're just not going to do it, okay? No, you're not. That was when he was speaking highly of her. But in every monologue that these people were giving, they also kind of speak their truth about their spouse. He began to refer to her as impatient, and while they're talking, they're showing clips from the show. And I'm like, this is messy as hell. So messy. So they're showing clips of moments when she definitely was impatient with him, but like, why am I gonna be patient with you when you're over here telling me that you're not attracted to me? You had sex with me multiple times despite not being attracted to me. You coerced your way into my coochie and now you have a baby on me, allegedly. Like, what? Why do I have to be patient with you? Anyway, let me not get too wrapped up in the shenanigans. And he also referred to her as not only impatient but insensitive. Ciao boo. You have the audacity. That is definitely one thing a man is always going to come with. The freaking audacity. Like, where do you get off? Where? So once we cut to decision day, Paige admits that she definitely lost herself in the process of the show, or in the process period, because she was more caught up on the idea of being in love and the idea of marriage versus actual being in love and actual marriage. So of course when Chris is talking, I don't know how I don't know how these people sat there and did not punch him in the face, because I was sitting at home like wanting to punch him. He stated that she is the best thing that he never appreciated. Or let me not misquote this man. He said the best thing he never cherished. Okay, miss, like, of course, as I always say, that's not the worst of it. He then went on to say that Paige embodies everything that he ever wanted in a wife. And he is sad or disappointed that he allowed external what's the word he used? Circumstances get in the way of that. Child. The external circumstances we're talking about are literally Paige's face. This man sat up on national television. It was like, this is just don't say anything, because this is worse than actually, like, this is a backhanded compliment. I'm gonna say it right now. He basically just said, you're everything I want in a wife, but you're ugly. So I let that get in the way. Like, wait, where do they do that at? Oh my God. So once again, as we've seen in the past, he apologizes again. And no shocker here, she is receptive of his apology. I mean, there's nothing wrong with accepting an apology, but we have to draw the line somewhere, okay? We do. We have to draw the line somewhere. He then states again that he was afraid of falling in love. And here's the kicker. Mercedes, aka his ex, supposedly had a miscarriage. I said, how convenient is that? We are at decision day and now we're finding out that Mercedes had a miscarriage. Really? I mean, I don't know if that lady was really pregnant, but I just felt like this was extremely convenient. That she's now miscarried her child. And what? Things are supposed to just go back? Hit the reset button again? What? Come on. I was like, this is very ghetto. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, because Chris is extremely dramatic, then storms offset once he states that the baby is no longer going to be coming to Earth. And of course, production goes into a frenzy and they're like saying that he left. The man left. He left the building. He's out of here, okay? Gone with the wind, fabulous. He's twirling, girl. Twirling away. But because Chris loves attention, no, he did not leave. He was sitting in his car crying. Really? You are the last person that should be crying, sir. And this is what gets me. This man's sitting in his car crying, and who is there by his side? Paige. Like, it couldn't be me. It couldn't. I'm not gonna console you. No. I'm not doing it. So, since Paige is now sitting in the car with this man, and he is crying, talking about how he felt so alone after Vegas. He's sorry, and he cares about her. I'm like, no. And to me, baby girl was eating it all up. And I'm like, no, this is not acceptable. Unacceptable. Unacceptable! Period. Especially because he went as far as to say he was not trying to hurt her. Yes, you were. And you're not going to sit here and not only gaslight this woman, but you're gaslighting the viewers? I am not going to allow this. Like, absolutely not. I'm calling this man out for everybody. Now, the sympathy, empathy train left the building hours ago. Okay, days ago, episodes ago. Because Paige was sat there rubbing this man's back. And I'm just like, he should be rubbing your back. He should be rubbing your damn back. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Make him rub his own damn back. Okay? You know what? Make him book an appointment at Massage Addict. Okay? How about that? Because what we're not going to do is console this man. We're not going to do it. So now she's in the building talking to producers, or she's in like a confessional, stating that she's now confused. Baby girl, what are you confused about? What are you confused about? She's confused because he's now affirmed her and giving her everything that she wanted before. He's affirmed her not only as his wife, but as a woman. And I'm like, no. This is, you need to go turn to the Lord and get your affirmations from Jesus Christ, because this ain't it. I don't want no man to affirm me. I'm sorry, I don't. You can keep it. Niggas can keep their affirmations to themselves. How about that? Yeah, we're not into it. We're really not. So because she came into decision day with her mind made up that she's leaving this man, now she sat here talking about she's confused and she doesn't know what to do, because, you know, she came there ready to leave him, and now she's second guessing her decision. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, shame on me, baby. Fool me 3 times, F the peace sign, load the choppers, let it rain on you. Like, give it up. What is happening here? So thank God for the only woman with sense in the building, or one of the only women with sense in the building. And let me not diss Dr. Pepper here. Dr. Viv, the goddess that she is, okay, she asked Paige, why are you overwhelmed? And so Paige basically states that since the baby was one of the main contributing factors to the demise of their relationship. Really? The baby? The baby was like the last thing to come into the picture. I don't know what this lady's talking about. I really don't. Like, girl, she was so confused. I was confused, okay? The confusion was contagious. Anyway, she was saying that since the baby's now out of the question, that's basically what's confusing her. Child, Chris must have the bomb D, girl, because... So then, the only man with sense in the building then asked, wasn't the relationship already in jeopardy prior to the baby? Because that's what I was thinking. I mean, inquiring minds would like to know, but like, the last time I checked, that's what it was. That's, the problems were there before the baby came into the picture. The baby was the scapegoat. Let's be real here. So once Pastor asked that, Chris decides to interject and say that no, after day 1, he felt like they were on the right track. And I'm like, what? Did Chris not watch the show? Did Chris not live this out? Because no, they were not on the right track after day 1. There were so many hiccups and ups and downs and just foolishness. Like, I was so confused, child. I am confusion. Like, I was very confused as to what was happening. And so at that point, the pastor is like, what the hell? Pastor is like, what the hell? Now, if the pastor is coming up out of himself, child, to say these things, you have to wonder what kind of demon did they have in that room, okay? Because Chris is next level. Next level, baby. I know it's hard to believe that things could get worse. Did I lie? But they got worse. Anytime Chris is talking, it's just not a good time, because this narcissist came up out of his mouth to say that he has feelings for Paige, and if he had a time machine, he would go back. Okay, Stewie, do you, boo? I'm like, what is happening? So I'm watching this show, and the doctors and everybody's looking at Paige, and she's like smiling, and she's like, I know, like, this is crazy. Like, you know that I know when things are crazy, when things have spun completely out of control. Yeah, that's the kind of tone that she had with that I know. And I'm sorry, but if I was one of the doctors, I would have walked out, because what you guys are not going to do is waste my time. That's what you're not going to do. So then Paige starts to clearly, visibly get overwhelmed. And she's like, this is too much. Like, absolutely too freaking much. And she really genuinely doesn't know what to do. How to respond. How to move in this situation. There is no level of desperation, okay? No level of desperation. So as we continue, the narcissist decides and says that they are undecided as to what they're going to be doing as a couple. I said, huh? I said it's decision day. There is no undecided on decision day. Okay, this is the day of decision. This is the day of deciding. There is no, I am undecided. There's just not. We're not going to do it. So Dr. Viv is upset now because she's like, this is not okay. I'm not okay with this, and I'm not okay that you're trying to put her through this, put her through even more than you already have. And I was like, okay, come on, Dr. Viv, you are my girl, okay? Dr. Viv calls Chris out for playing with all of them, and I'm like, oh, I agree with her 100%. I said, this guy is literally playing games. So once Dr. Viv calls Chris out, Paige then says their whole relationship has been unorthodox. Nothing has been by the book. Nothing has been smooth. So this is not a surprise kind of thing. And I'm like, I know this lady is not sitting up here taking up for this man right now. What are you doing? So then Chris starts to say, the 8 weeks is not a long enough time. Baby, you did not put in the work for the 8 weeks. You caused commotion and havoc for 8 weeks. That's what you did. You didn't try for the 8 weeks. So you can't say 8 weeks is not enough because you never put the effort in. And there's many couples that have moved on from the show and have done had babies or two. Like, you cannot say the 8 weeks is not enough time. It is definitely enough time for them to make a decision. But the fact of the matter was, you sabotaged your 8 weeks. So then Pastor asked, like, are you guys deciding to stay married for now? Because Chris was trying to say, as of right now, they cannot give a decision. Like, he was trying to say, call back in a few weeks, child. We'll see what we can do. But no, we need a decision today, honey. We're not going to try to make history here. You ain't about to be in the blogs and all that. Like, no, that's not what we're doing, okay? Why am I acting like I'm one of the damn doctors? When the pastor asked this, Paige starts shaking her head like she's in disbelief or something. So then Dr. Pepper asked her, why are you shaking your head? Because it was almost like her body was responding to what Chris was saying. Chris was saying they're undecided, but her subconscious mind, I guess, was coming out and jumping out and was trying to put a stop to things because it's gone through enough. And she was shaking her head no, like, this is not right. And so Dr. Pepper then asked her, why are you shaking your head? At that point, Paige started crying and was like, this is too much. Like, she was done. Like, she was absolutely done. And I would have been done too long before that. But she was absolutely done, and she just couldn't, I guess, film anymore. So Paige walks off set. So now we've had Chris walk off and come back. Now we have Paige walking off. And because Chris is the manipulator that he is then trying to take charge of this situation, and he is trying to ask Paige if she wants to leave. And so he's telling them to take off Paige's mic. Because Chris is not the one running the show, Paige pulls one of the producers to the side, and she is telling the producer, like, she does not want to look stupid, which she already does and already has. So, I mean, and so she's having this conversation with the producer, and while she's having that conversation with the producer, one of the pastor pulls Chris to the side and is like, listen, all this aside, all the show aside, from me to you, you have to make a decision, because this is not cool. Man to man kind of thing. Like, Paige is vulnerable right now, and you don't want to do this. Like, this is not okay. So they sit back down, and then Paige finally comes to her damn senses, okay? And she decides to get a divorce. Yes, God. Thank you, God, for intervening in that moment. Okay? Because what? All that you were... Listen, there was drama day 1 and drama at week 8. There was going to be drama for the rest of your life. Literally. I'm so glad she decided to get the divorce. Because I'm like, no. Okay? Marriage, no. No. This is not the person that you want to be married at first sight to. I think they should give Paige a redo. Okay? They should find somebody else to match her with on next season. Because I don't think she got a fair shot at this show at all. Or at love, or at marriage. So I think I'm here for Paige coming back onto the show with a new mate. In this scene, Chris looks like he done lost the love of his life, okay? He looks devastated, like Paige is dead, okay? Like, and I'm like, This man deserves 10 Oscars, not one, but 10 Oscars. Because in my personal, humble opinion, what I feel is that Chris decided that he was going to come to Decision Day and act like this. And act like Paige is everything, and he needs Paige, and he's apologetic, and he's not a narcissist because of the way people received and will perceive him after watching the show. The slander that he is going to endure online, the dragging, he didn't want that, and that's what he's getting, and he knew that that's what was going to happen, so he was trying to save face. Because you ain't gonna tell me, sit up here and tell me this is a man of God, because that's what they were trying to push. Like, no, this guy needs help, he needs Jesus, and he needs to not be with any woman ever. Okay, he needs to be single, because his behavior is like textbook narcissist. Red flags all over. Okay, I think that he only came on Decision Day acting this way so that people would look at him in a different light, but it's too late. We already saw you for who you are. Definitely needs more people, because we don't believe you. We really don't believe you. I will be right back. So yeah, pretty much the couple of the season, even though it was a negative thing, they got divorced, which obviously we all saw coming. But the fact that we made it to Decision Day and there were still problems, like the fact that there was still a question on Decision Day, is so problematic. We definitely all were rooting for Paige, but it got to a point where we were like, pump the brakes. Okay, Paige, if you want to do foolishness, if you want to play stupid games and win stupid prizes, well, mama, that's on you, boo. But I was so glad Dr. Viv interjected when she did. Otherwise, we would have just went with what Chris was saying, which was not okay in any way. So then we get to Virginia and Eric, and they're definitely my least favorite couple on the show. Didn't really like them at all. Again, I was not rooting for them to stay married because they had a lot of issues. I just wasn't rooting for them to stay married because he was on the controlling side and she has a drinking problem, and nobody's addressing this elephant in the room. And I don't know why. And then he was trying to drink to keep up with her, and she is young and doesn't really understand how marriage works. And he had actually been married before, but they both, to me, just, I don't think that they were a great pairing. And so based on those differences, like, to me, they were the couple that from like day one you could tell that there was chemistry there. But chemistry can wear off, boo, okay? You throw a little baking soda in that vinegar, girl, it's gonna explode. So you know, I mean, that could be a good explosion or a bad explosion. But Virginia and Eric were definitely somebody that, or a couple that I wasn't really sure which way it would go. No shocker here, they did end up staying married. I guess I figured because Virginia kind of wanted to be free, she's more liberal, he's more conservative, that they just would decide to remain friends. But I really anticipated Virginia saying no and Eric saying yes. I do not see them lasting long term, but I ain't got jail, so I really don't know what's gonna happen. So last but not least, we get to Vincent and Bree. Again, maybe I'm just a negative Nancy, but I was hoping for a divorce. That was my prediction, that they would divorce, because in our last gathering, we came to a consensus that Vincent may be closeted. And I mean, that's fine and all, if you don't drag somebody else into it. Obviously, we don't know if he is or isn't. But if he happens to be, that's obviously not fair to Bree. But like I said, we just don't know. One of Bree's main concerns is that she's too direct for Vincent. And, you know, I guess finding out that he requested that he doesn't get somebody that's direct, and then they gave him literally what he didn't ask for, I think that worried her a lot, especially because she wasn't even able to like joke with him. And if you can't joke with your partner, it's not fun. Okay, I should be able to, you know, call you a wanker And you're not going to take offense to it. Like, it's not even like that's what she was doing either. She was never mean to him. But, like, any little thing that she said or did, he was on defense about it, or he wasn't taking it lightly. So that's not fun in a relationship. That's not even... I would be so over it if I were Brie. So as they're sitting there on the couches, Vincent then says that they're still working on the tone thing, and it got a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie. He calls her rude again, and I'm like, you gotta toughen up, sir. She's not rude. Like, the lady is not rude. I don't know, maybe I'm rude and I just don't recognize Brie as rude, but I didn't even know that when you're looking for somebody, if you're going to like a matchmaker, that one of the things you would even think to put is not somebody that is assertive, not somebody that is direct. So you want them to be indirect? You want, listen, when I throw shots, they ain't gonna miss, honey, okay? You gonna get this. Whatever it is I need to tell you, I should be able to tell you without you being offended by it, because we are partners. I shouldn't be like, if Shooter cooks me a steak and I don't like the way it tastes, I'm gonna tell him and he's gonna have to deal. Now, that never happens. He cooks a steak damn good, okay? It's literally ruined my appetite for steaks outside of the house because he cooks the steak so damn good. I don't want it when I go out. I'm like, this steak don't taste right. Who cooked this? This nasty. But I'm just giving an example. I'm saying with your partner, you're supposed to be able to share your feelings with them. And even if the conversation gets heated, like, it's not supposed to be some big thing. You know what I mean? You should be able to express yourself to your partner without it being a thing. And with Vincent, it's always a thing. It's draining, actually. Seeing how sensitive he is, it's not normal. I'm sorry. Because like I said before, there's nothing wrong with a sensitive man. We stand, okay? We stand sensitive men who can express themselves, men who can share their feelings. But Vincent, honey, if I wanted to date a lady, I'd date a lady, okay? That's how I would feel if I was Brie. And pause, because that's not even fair for me to say a lady, because I'm a lady and I'm definitely not even remotely as close to as sensitive as this man is. So he's in a category of his own, child. I don't know what that's about, but he needs to loosen up and get a grip at the same damn time. When he calls her rude again, she's like, she cannot change who she is as a person, and he shouldn't even want her to. That's number one, boo. If you're getting with somebody, you shouldn't want them to change. You know, you should accept them for who they are. If they love you enough, they will definitely change for you. And in all fairness, Brie says that she cannot change who she is as a person or how she is as a person, but she loves the person that she's becoming because of Vincent. So Vincent is basically making her scale down, I guess, and also, you know, realize that there's a way that you can say things that is, you can still get the same point across, but like, I don't want to have to mince my words, and I also don't want to have to tiptoe, walk on eggshells with the person that I am trying to spend the rest of my life with. I'm sorry. Me and Vincent wouldn't have made a child, but that's why I'm not on the show. I'm not Brie. Me and Vincent would not have made it. We wouldn't have. I'm like, I'm gonna say, based on the facial expressions, Vincent at this point doesn't look like he wants to stay married. But then, in a turn of events, he says that he feels fulfilled being with her, and at that point he got on one knee and proposed to her with a box of cheesecake, which she was completely obsessed with. This is him basically taking notes, because she had mentioned cheesecake about this before, how much she loves cheesecake, and so this was extremely meaningful to Brie. They stay married, the show is over. And so tomorrow is the reunion. I will definitely be back to talk about the reunion, but what I have to say is that I personally was not rooting for Vincent and Brie. I wasn't rooting for anybody except for Jake and freaking Haley, which is crazy because I was not rooting for them all season. Girl, I've been doing more flip-flopping than the Bad Girls Clubhouse. Like, what is happening? I really was not rooting for Vincent and Brie because, girl, I think that they both still have individual work to do, especially Vincent, before becoming a husband or a wife. And I also feel like because of the whole baby thing, that's a big roadblock in their relationship already, and we know it up front. When did this turn off? Oh god. So because of that roadblock or that underlying issue, I'm not really sure where things are gonna head with these two, but I wish everybody the best of luck that stayed married, and I cannot wait to see the reunion because it looks like Chris and Paige may have still been hooking up after the show, and I really just can't if that's the case. But I will let you guys know the tea, okay? I love you all so much, and I will definitely see you in the next one.